Welcome back. It's Black Coal Woodworking. My name's Matt. Today I'm making a bat. Never done that on video before. So this is the overall shape I'm going for. Rounded corners on top, bit of a taper. What I found is about 20% of the length of the bat at the end that I'm holding. That is going to be straight. The next 20% is where I start the taper. And then I end up with about an inch for the handle, and the knob at the end will be 1.5 inches. To bring this to mostly round, I'm using my spindle rough and gouge. It's a big hunk of metal that I like to use, and just kind of fun. Once I'm done with the spindle rough and gouge, I like to switch over to the skew to get that last little bit to round. This way I get a really clean cut. Because my spindle rough and gouge does not give me a clean cut. Haven't quite figured the angle out on that one yet. For the perceptive eye and ear, my skew is actually pretty dull. I should be sharpening it, but I haven't figured that out yet. The next step in my process is to mark out the depths that I need to get to. This is the bottom of the bat where the hand goes, the knob, and that knob is going to be about 1.5 inches at the biggest part of its diameter. I needed to clear a little bit of space here just so I could make this all happen. And then I decided, since I'm here with this beading and parting tool, turns out being a beading part of the parting tool, I'm going to try that. I don't normally use this for beading because it seems to take quite a few passes, but it does a good job. It's easy, and having very little risk for a catch makes that a very nice feature too. Now that the knob is kind of roughed out, I'm going to try and rough down the handle itself. So the handle is going to be 1 inch in diameter, and I want to cut it down to just above that. So again, I can switch to the skew and give it that glossy final cut. I needed to rough down one more section so that I've got the top of the handle and the bottom of the handle. Now my plan here was to use a peeling cut with the skew to take away the bulk of the material quickly. And that proved to be a lot more difficult than I thought. Normally when I cut like this in a peeling cut, yeah, you get fibers tearing out like that. But this wood was especially fibrous. So much so that eventually I've got to abandon the idea and switch back to the spindle rough and gouge. Here it is from another angle. Those fibers really get in the way. In fact, it was so rough it knocked my piece off center. And that finish there is not pleasant. So, like I said, here's that spindle rough and gouge again. It's also a quick way to remove a lot of material. In this case, it's actually a lot better than the skew. Thanks to the lousy attempt at peeling with the skew, I've now got to fix the handle. It's not going to end up perfect, but it'll be a little better than the wobbly that you see. Here's that glossy last cut with the skew I was talking about. Now for the taper. I'm going to start kind of where my line is and work my way down. I'll end up kind of half rolling a bead near the end there just to try to get it closer to the handle. From here it's really finding the shape and amount of taper and curve that I want. And I'll make the taper and slope match into the handle. And that's really the whole goal. Here I got stuck a bit, so I decided to use the corner of the skew to help push my way through that, and that's a great way to get through a bit of a tough spot. Otherwise you kind of have to start in a different area altogether, preferably on top of any high spots instead of beside any high spots, if that makes any sense. With the taper done, it's now time to finish cut the rest of the business end, round over the top, so I get that nice little shape of a bat that I want out of that. Which is really, again, kind of like rolling a half bead. The finish on this is extremely simple. It's walnut oil, shellac, and beeswax. Put enough layers of either of those and you end up with an absolutely gorgeous finish, and it's something you can use right away. If I were using a spray lacquer, I'd probably have to wait 15 minutes or something like that between coats, but with shellac and walnut oil and beeswax, it's dry almost instantly, and it's very nice to the touch. Very buttery soft, for being a bat and all. And that's how I made a little bat. The kids are gonna love this one. The fish probably a little less. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.